Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus new moon eclipse for the month of February tarot oracle reading. And Libra, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not in Libra, we still all have a little bit of Libra in us somewhere. If you have your birth chart, which house is Libra in, that's where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. Please take what works for you and leave what's rest, as this is a general collective reading. And also, if you are watching this right now, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on back then in your life, that may give you further clarity as to your situation now. So we do have the energy. We're going to start with the energy from the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. And we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords energy is talking about, it can be read in several ways, but the most common way is like this is talking about having to battle for something. This can be represent cutthroat energy coming from other people and also from yourself, like win at all costs kind of energy. This also can represent an inner battle within yourself. And every time you have this battle, you become a little bit better version of yourself. This is talking about your subconscious mind, which is your the mind that is formed from birth to about age 6 or 7. It is actually a part of your life that you probably have very vague memories of, and has been actually the people that were in charge of your care. It's more their thoughts than yours, yet this is very heavily imprinted on us. And so the subconscious mind is the mind that hangs out with us all the time, and it's kind of what we rely on when we get stressed out or we're feeling really emotional. So one of these swords can represent the subconscious mind, and then the unconscious mind. A lot of people will say, I'm a human being with a soul. But it would be much more accurate to say I'm a soul with it that is traveling in a human body, and that's how I'm navigating the planet Earth. And then this is the mind that you have a conscious grip on. You have a handle on it. It's your conscious mind. This is from your own life experiences, what you've seen and done, your life experiences. And so this is talking about being in a position where maybe you're having an inner battle, trying to figure out what to do. So this is the underlying energy for the entire reading, and we're going to now look at the underlying energy for the internal forces. So here we have the Hangman. This is the perfect energy to be in, Libra. At this time on the planet is this energy. You called it right. So this is representing internal forces. Internal forces are the questions. You can tell if it's an internal force because you'll be asking yourself things like, what if I do this? What if they do that? What if they do this and I do that? That kind of energy. But the Hangman is the perfect place to be right now, because it's talking about, the Hangman hangs from the tree of knowledge because he doesn't know which direction to make. He's kind of in conflict within himself. And so this is an energy. He goes and he hangs from the tree of knowledge, and he's upside down because he wants to get a totally different perspective from standing upright. And until he has the enlightenment that he needs, he does not take action. He does not come down from this tree and take action until he's sure that he has looked at it from all perspectives and has a good idea of a strong action to take rather than reacting. The internal forces are what you have control of. So you can either react to a situation, what other people do or say, or what's going on in the world, or you can respond to it. And so this is the energy of the star. This is the energy you're in. This is how you see yourself right now. And so you're a star. If you didn't know it, now you do. And so this is talking about you have your right foot dipped into the universal waters. You're adding your own special qualities to that universal pool, and you're also using alchemy to bring that out and pour that energy onto the earth. So this is talking about your own unique qualities that bring value to the earth, and bringing that, taking that and bringing it onto earth, staying on your destined path, so that's what you bring in. And this is talking about the North Star. The North Star represents your destined path, the one that God put you on when you were put on this planet. And these stars here represent the Pleiades, the dancing sisters. And then we have the energy of the Page of Swords. And so this is talking about some sort of communication coming in. The pages used to work for the king and queens in the old days. They would begin around the age of 7 to 14. Generally, they would come from the families around that were a more upper class society, you know, educated. And they would perform small tasks for the king and queen and deliver messages and that kind of, run small errands, that kind of energy. And then when they became older, if they were really good at what they were doing and they were well suited for it, and they could afford a horse by the time they were 21, then they would be considered possibly for a knighthood. And so the Page of Swords, their main job was to deliver communication amongst people in the court. And this energy is talking so about thoughts of people and, you know, your mental intelligence and your discipline of your mind, basically. What's interesting about the Page of Swords is he's the only page that's not really totally focused on his element, and that's because he already has the thought. He already knows what the thought is, what the information is. Now he is looking away from that towards his intuition. He's thinking outside the box, so that he can come to some sort of communicate, how to deliver this communication in the strongest way. This also reminds me a lot of the time of the energy of a golfer. So like when people play golf, that's a very mental sport. You know, if you have if on the first hole you really mess up and your score is already sucks in the game, it's like, there's no, you know, you're like, oh, like, and you let that bother you and you carry that attitude throughout the rest of the game, you're probably not going to have as pleasant of a day. Having said that, if you can turn that around and on the second hole you get a hole-in-one kind of energy, then you are mastering your game. You may not still win because of the first hole, but you won within yourself. You've become a better version of yourself because you were able to discipline your mind to be able to move forward in the strongest way. And we have this card here is talking about you know, sabotage, clearly. So there's 10 swords in this person's back and they're left for unalive. They're laying there and they're looking into the energy of like the future and wondering if they have one, basically. This is a calculated effort that someone or someones have put into to put you in this position. So they didn't like seeing you shiny. So they got together to decide, okay, let's take this person down and possibly take from you something. And right now, we don't have any pentacles here. We don't have any cups of love. This is talking more about intellectual material or, you know, just words and information being used, basically, at this point. And so this is saying, yes, you've been sabotaged. This is talking about 10 swords of sabotage. This can represent a decade-long energy of this energy, and also represent at least 10 people doing it, or one person at least 10 times. And it can even be 10 groups of people. This also can talk about being caught in this energy where you're fighting with yourself and you sabotage yourself. The thing is, this person has their right hand in the form of a sign of a blessing. And this is the same hand gesture that the Hierophant is using. And the Hierophant brings traditional structure of justice down to earth. So on a spiritual level, there's justice, and that comes down to earth, and it's played out in the courts of law in the physical realm. This is also talking, I feel like the energy that we have coming up here in the energy we have right now for the new moon. This is Friday the 13th as I'm doing this reading, and it will be posted early Saturday morning. And this energy is talking about, you know, it'll be Valentine's Day. So, and we don't have any cups of love out here, which is good. We don't want to mix love into this energy. This isn't really a healthy love love energy or relationship energy. But what it is talking about is the energy of what's going on with this new moon. So the new moon is on the 17th. And the new moon is talking about the energy of the new moon is talking about the energy of Aquarius. So the new moon is in the age of Aquarius, or in the sign of Aquarius, and it is talking about what the needs of the outside group are. Opposing that energy right across the horoscope wheel from the Aquarius energy is the Leo energy, and Leo is talking about, hey, what about me? Like, if you expect me to be a leader, I need to look after my own needs first so that I'm a strong leader, so I can do what, lead. And the energy of Leo is actually ruled by the sun. That sign is ruled by the sun. And so this is like a conflict, like an inner conflict here. What's more important here, the needs of the group or the needs of the individual? That kind of, and if you're a leader, if you need to take the time to look after yourself, it's important that you do so. Because how are you going to lead in a strong way if you're feeling weak? And so that's kind of the inner battle in that. And so that's the new moon part. Then we also have the energy coming in that very same day. Is the very first day of the Chinese New Year. And we're moving out of the sign of, or the year of the snake, and we are moving into the year of the fiery horse energy. And so this is all about the new, and it can be very impulsive energy. It's something that it's very fiery and adventurous and about setting high achievement goals, which is all really cool and good. In love matters, it's about having a lot of passion and heartfelt energy. But at the same time, the danger of the fiery horse energy is that it can be very impulsive. And now is not a good time for impulsive energy or for getting angry and then like, oh, I'm going to tweet this out. You don't want to be in that energy right now. It's not going to benefit you. A lot of people, there's a lot of conflict within people because of the information coming in right now and the astrological effects that are present right now. And because at the same time, on January 26th, the planet Neptune, which is a very big planet, and it's like a huge force, it takes 14 years for it to move into the next sign. And so it has been in the sign of Pisces for the last 14 years. And in 2025, it was moving into Aries, but then it moved back, and then it moved back into Aries. But it made its final stop into Aries on the 26th of January. And Neptune is a planet of idealism. So the energy is very different when it was in the age of Pisces, which was 14 years. And now it's in the Aries, like a newborn baby, ready to scream its head off if it doesn't get what it wants, but not being able to communicate that well. And so it's basically, a very, very different energy that people are dealing with right now. And because Neptune is such a big planet, it's felt, that kind of energy. And then at the same time, on the 13th, today, as I'm doing this reading, Saturn is moving into the energy of Aries as well, joining Neptune. So the two of them are in conflict. You need to be idealistic. You need to look after your responsibilities. That kind of energy. And so there's a lot, but the energy is also new energy. And so it seems like the systems of the past here, on top of it, we have on the same day, we have the energy of the solar eclipse. And solar eclipse, this is the first one of the year 2026, and solar eclipse mean that for a short period of time, we cannot, the sun is blocked out by the energy of the moon. So it's really challenging to come to truth in matters, and it's upsetting. People get really triggered, whether they realize it or not, when there's a solar eclipse, because the light is basically leaving the world. I mean, we know now with all the information we have access to, that's okay. Yes, the sun is blocked out, but it's only going to be for a short time, and then we'll move back into seeing the sun again. But you can imagine when it first happened, how people who didn't have access to the information we have now could have freaked out. Where's the sun gone? Oh my God, there's no sun kind of energy. It's dark. So this is kind of that struggle that's it's talking about spiritual warfare in many ways. And so this is also the energy here of representing, on this card here, representing that eclipse energy and you know, that struggle within people. And so we'll look into this some more here, but that's kind of amplified by this energy. And yes, and now we have a tower hitting. So the tower is a reality check. And this energy, I just did a reading for the daily, my Tattletales from Tales from the Vector. And my daily reading was really very much about this on more of a global scale. But we're all feeling that energy from the top coming down, as above, so below. And what we do and how we react and how we respond is going to determine how that is handled, basically. There's only about 1 or 2% of the people at the top running the country. And because of the energy, there's about 98% here of people that have opinions, and this is being played out on a much smaller level in our lives. And so we all have to deal with this new energy coming in, and we have to deal with all the emotions and everything. And people are there's a lot of conflict right now. This is a really, really good time to go inward and really just chill out and do your research. If you're planning to take an important action, make sure that you check into every aspect of it and that you have a really clear idea what you're doing. It's a really good time to do research and just to hang back a little bit and see what happens, because this is very explosive energy. And the tower is a very uncomfortable place. If you can avoid it and go inward and say, hey, okay, I'm going to look into this now, because the tower will hit if you don't. For sure. It's already hitting the world. There's splatter everywhere. And the interesting thing is about the energy of the tower, it's a reality check. People are pretending, oh, that's not happening, that kind of energy. This isn't happening to me. The economy is really bad, but there's no way I'll lose my job. And then all of a sudden you get a notice in the mail, or you get called into the office and sorry, it's not you, but we're cutting jobs, kind of energy. And so a lot of people are experiencing a lot of these reality checks all around the world right now. And we have to deal with it. We're forced to. It's a very uncomfortable place. And it generally, when towers hit, it's really at the most inopportune time. It's just the way it is. Judgment is being called. You see the dark energy just coming in here, woof, boom, like we were doing good until this, So, but this is talking about what's going on. And so this is an energy that's out there that we all are dealing with. And so the judgment is being called, and it's being called from the spiritual all the way down to the upper parts of the elite energy of the people who run the countries, are in positions of the most power, and then that coming down to everybody. We all have a responsibility in this. Judgment is being called. So it's talking about the ancestors across the veil cheering because this is coming in. So sometimes the ancestors are, watching over us, and they're like, what the heck is going on planet Earth now? Let's get our shift together here. And finally, okay, judgment is being called, and they're celebrating. And the descendants are on the other side celebrating with them, because it's important that we get to the truth and we know what's really going on so that we can move forward in a stronger way. And so this can often represent Pandora's box being open. Like once it's said, once it's done, you can't undo it. That's why this impulsive energy is not it's really not a time to be impulsive and to take actions that aren't really well planned and thought out, and making so that they're in alignment with your goals. And this energy is also talking about skeletons could be coming out of the closet, as we're seeing played out, on the global scale. This is a gift from God, actually. The truth coming in is causing a passion for new discovery. A lot of people are looking into things that they thought were just like, come on, that can't possibly be. And finding out, yes, it can possibly be, and it is, and we need to deal with it. Like, we can't just sweep it under the rug anymore. We can't pretend, this isn't happening in my life. We have to face what we need to face here. And the best way to do that and do a good job of finding really creative solutions is to apply logic to our intuitive feelings so that we go in the right direction and that we have passion to do so. if enough people on the planet have passion for the truth and wanting to set things straight and live like, improve the situation, we do have an obligation to our descendants to leave the world a better place than we started, and we're far from that right now. And okay, so we're talking about external forces. So this is external forces coming in. This is talking about the energy of being in an elevated position. So this is you. You're being recognized. People are noticing whatever it is that you do, that you are very good at it. You've mastered your skill set. People are wanting to collaborate with you now. And this could represent having like, you're finally haven't been going to school and you're valedictorian of the class, or you've been the captain of your football team or your hockey team, and now all the scouts are out and they're wanting you to be on their team as a professional player. It could be the energy of being, it's usually a skill that not everybody has, that this card represents. So something unique, an individual who could become a famous actor or actress, or someone that is maybe a really good musician or an entertainer of some sort. It's like you stand out, like you're, and people want to collaborate, which is a great thing. But this card is saying you have to be very careful, because you need to understand that you need to be in control of the gifts that God gave to you, so that you are in alignment with those in the path that you are supposed to use them for. And you have to be careful who you collaborate with, that you're the one who's in charge, that you're not signing your life away to secret societies or energies that then after you're really going to regret, because now you didn't want to work weekends because you wanted to have time with your children, but now you have to. You didn't want to have to do just all sorts of things. And so this is the energy of wanting to have the lifestyle that you want. And like if you have like a young family and you're like, no, I would rather take less money and work here. Or let's say you were chosen to be the quarterback of a professional football team, and there's 4 or 5 different teams that are saying that they want you on their team, and one team is paying the most, but you'd be so far away from your family, like from your, and you have young children and you want them to know their grandparents and stuff. So you take a little bit less money in exchange for having that, then when you're on the road and traveling, your partner would have the support of family, if there's young children. It's that kind of making those kinds of choices and being in alignment with that. So this is talking about how you identify right now with yourself, and this is talking about, you understand that you're very talented and that you're a star. And if you don't, you do now. Because I'm telling you, you're a star. And then this is talking about your abundance and your self-worth. So recognizing that you have the ability to discipline your mind to be able to have the freedom to go for what you really want. This is talking about communication, and this can come in from early life. So like having conflict within yourself because of situations that happened. And if that's the subconscious mind causing that, it could be stuff that you don't even remember what was happening, and that what you're being told isn't accurate, and you're trying to deal with that, and it puts you in situations where you get sabotaged, or you end up sabotaging your own success. And we have this energy coming in of your emotional foundation. And so this is talking about a lot of discord, of people ignoring problems until it gets to the point where you have to move, or your parents lose the house, or they can't get along at all anymore now and they're getting divorced, that kind of energy. So these are everyday things that happen to people. And it's kind of like your emotional foundation is really formed by that, especially before the age of 6 or 7. And then this is talking about judgment, about how you, about your romance, your children, creativity, like what are you doing to make the world a better place, or what are you not doing, basically. And also that, of course, then extends to who is running the countries, who is running the show kind of energy. What are they doing? And then this is regarding your health and your daily routine and your habits. And so this is about having a passion for getting up in the morning and being on your path and saying, I love my work. I love my family. I can't wait to see them when I get home from work. And I love going to work. That kind of energy. We have, so those are the internal forces, and you have control over theirs. It's you know, your attitude in life, basically. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles coming in, and this is an external force coming in. So this represents an energy of being supported financially to have a good lifestyle. And so I do feel you have a lot of opportunities here. You just have to make sure you're in alignment with the energy so that you have control over your path. And the thing is about the Knight of Pentacles, this represents someone that has been waiting a long time. You've had to be very patient. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest of all the knights. And I feel like this energy is also talking about the energy of the year of the fiery horse coming in. This horse isn't that fiery, but this horse is steady. You know, it's kind of that kind of energy. This horse isn't an impulsive horse. This looks like the horses that they used to use when from the European nations. I can't remember the name of them right now. When I was learning how to ride a horse, I rode a big horse named Bumper, and I mean, he was an amazing horse, but he was huge, you know, and they're the horses that quite often are used for in the Olympics and that for jumping competitions. They've got a very strong bloodline, and they're very intelligent and steady. And so that's the kind of energy that they're called warm bloods, basically. And so this is the energy of the pentacle coming in. So generally, yes, this knight takes a long time to come in, but he comes in, and usually the information he is sharing is a strong offer. And quite often it will be about, this is the element of the pentacles. So quite often it will be about contracts or agreements or energies like that. Something you've been waiting for and waiting for this to come in, and then getting the perfect offer. That kind of energy. And then we have so having to juggle, a lot of multitasking. So this is talking about multitasking is a wonderful skill to have. But there's a certain point where you multitask to the point where you're so busy that your work suffers. And so then you're doing things over again. And so it's better, like you need to know how, you know, when to say, okay, that's enough multitasking, so that you're more aware of what's going on, and you have time to deal with problems as they come up rather than having to put it off. And so this is about juggling. It also can be taught, it's about juggling your options, but it's also saying juggle your options, but do not juggle your morals. And it's also talking, if you do juggle your morals and you don't deal with things right away, look at the waves get bigger, and it's a small ship, small ship, but now it's gained momentum, and now it's a big ship on a big wave, and it's way more that you have to deal with, like that Saturn energy, you know, of now that you didn't take care of it and nip it in the bud when it was small. Now it's grown into like this big ship with momentum, you know. And we have this energy then of this is Nine of Cups is talking, finally we have some love here coming in, and this energy is talking not necessarily about romantic love, but about having a lot of love in your life. So this is talking about 9 cups, and there's only 10 in the tarot. And this is talking about something that you've always wished for. And so this is like, you know, I'm talking about, I have the partner of my dreams. I love my partner. I love my business. I love my children. I love my home. I love my work. I love my neighbors and hanging out with them. I love being part of the community. I love my house itself. I love the country I'm in. I love the city I'm in. You know, that kind of energy. And you're so close to being having as much fulfillment, the ultimate fulfillment that is possible on planet Earth, as far as you can have, you know, fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. And so this is talking about something you're wishing for, but and you're highly favored to get it. But it's talking about you have to stay in the game, stay focused, and not take actions that you will regret later, that were impulsive. Again, it's giving that warning. It's just not a good time for it right now. There's too many people that are, you know, like really in a a concerned state, and feeling really like a lot of conflict within, and worried about what's going on in the economy and all of that kind of energy. So this is really important to just recognize there's times sometimes to take action, and there are times not to. And I feel like this energy is again talking about that, you know, the Neptune and the Saturn coming together. And we also do have Mercury, which is a planet about communication. It rules communication, is going to be going retrograde, which means from the point of view of the Earth, it looks like it's going backwards. And so that energy is coming in on the 26th, I believe it's the 26th of February. And that is a retrograde period where this is still like the best energy to go into, like get the, you know, do your research, look into things, but don't make really important decisions unless you really need to, because the energy will be way more supportive for that at the beginning of March kind of energy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune turning. So this is talking about good luck coming your way. This is if you've been on your destined path, the past, the present, and the future coming together. This is actually 3 wheels. One of the wheels actually has the letters of Tetragrammaton, which is a mathematical equation basically. And it also represents the divine order in the universe and on the planet Earth, and like the God's divinity and about things being in order. God is a very orderly God, and things need to be very clean and put in order. And it may appear like things are total chaos on the planet at this time, but the planet goes through periods where we're expanding, and that's when things go flying around. You know, if you think about a tornado, and you know, or that kind, or a hurricane kind of energy, if you're in the center of the storm, it's very quiet and it's very calm. But as you get to the outer extremes, that's where like things are flying around, and it's really wild, right? And so this is talking about things in times of expansion. The energy goes outward and it can become really wild, and then it has to come back to contraction and be put back into order. And so that's the energy that we're in right now. We're starting to come, actually I feel like we're really starting to see, although if a lot of people who have never even contemplated that what people are talking about out there right now is possibly happening, are kind of in shock, like this tower has shocked them, where other people have seen it coming for a while, and it's more like they're more closer to the center. They're not as upset by it because it's not like, oh my, like how is this possible? They're not in shock. So this is the kind of energy. Everybody's at a different place in their lives in this. So this is talking about, again, when I said the divinity of God, and that God is a very organized, orderly God. You can see that when you look at what's happening in nature. And sometimes this card can represent that also. Like nature does not just march forward. Like manifestation in nature, like the math for nature is nature will take 1 + 1 = 2, and then 2 reaches back into the past and grabs 1, and that equals 3, and then 3 reaches back into the past for 2 and makes 3 reaches back to make 5, then 5 reaches back into the past for 3 and makes 8. And that's kind of because for nature, manifestation is a dance. And you know, you have forward steps, you have side steps, you have back steps. When human beings want progress to be like forward, but that's like a march. So it's like you don't want to march through life. You want to be able to enjoy the journey and kind of dance through it, you know. So sometimes, yeah, it can be really frustrating when you feel like, oh, you know, I've taken 1 step forward and 2 steps back kind of energy. But eventually, if you keep persevering, you're going to make progress, and that's the manifestation that nature has. And nature, you know, you just have to look at the beauty around us and how everything is like in perfect, you know, like how flowers, how is it possible that you can have such beautiful flowers, and each flower from like that species, it looks exactly like the other, yet each one is also unique in its own beauty if you get up close and really look at it. It's really amazing when you think about it. And so this is that energy again of the horse energy coming in and saying, if you're on the planet right now, you were destined to be on the planet right now. These are exciting times. Like, we can look at these times as being really scary, or and hey, it's okay to be scared, but we also can look at the possibilities within the challenges. This is the happiest card in the deck. This is the sun shining on and shedding light on the situation. It's representing God putting things back in order, and all it's saying is stay on your destined path as best you can. And this, you know, this child is like carefree, and the sunflowers in the back, they're turning with the sun, and it's talking about having, you know, that taking in that energy without a fear. Like, this child is fearless. Look at them, they're on this pony, and they're no reins, no saddle, no bridle, you know, and carrying this heavy banner, but saying, hey, I've got this. This is what I was destined for. And then we have the energy of the Queen of Wands. So this queen has been really showing up a lot lately in the readings. So the Queen of Wands is someone that uses her intuition and her logic and follows this energy of the sun. And so this energy is talking about being, you know, she's a natural beauty, just something like kind of manifests in the same way that nature does. She doesn't get upset if things go kind of backwards and sideways, because she understands that life is a dance and we're being called to dance. So you may as well enjoy the journey, right? And not take like it too seriously. She's passionate about what she does, but she understands, she's always looking for creative solutions. And so she doesn't get all triggered and upset. I mean, she may, but she'll then sit down and take a look at it and use her logic and her intuition to come to creative solutions. She sets the tone, and this is the element of fire. And so she, out of all the cards in the royalty and the wands, most of them have salamanders in a circle on their tunics, or they have salamanders running by on, you know, on the ground in the picture. And the only one who doesn't have this is the Queen of Wands, because she doesn't need protection from fire, because she commands it. She sets the tone, and she doesn't, you know, like, she has this little black cat here, and a lot of people are like, oh, I would never get a black cat, because there's so many superstitious theories around a black cat. And she's like, I like black cats. I like this cat, and I don't care if it's black, whatever. I'm not concerned about the superstition around it. I know that I can, you know, I'll find a creative solution if there's a problem with the cat. That's kind of that kind of energy. Being a unique individual and being okay with that. Following your passion for life and for staying on your path. And so this is really good energy, Libra. This is really strong energy for you. Just, you know, just don't get all worked up about anything. There's always going to be towers here and there. That's how life is. And sometimes we can avoid them, and sometimes we can't. Sometimes it's the actions of the people we're close to that cause the tower, and we weren't paying enough attention, and so bang, it hits. Sometimes it's like deliberate, you know, like this is deliberate. This is not like someone accidentally, if this is this is happening to you, this was actions taken from others that they deliberated upon and collaborated with each other to do this. And also this can represent, you know, energies of hidden sabotages within yourself. So just recognizing that and saying, okay, well, I'm going to do my best to learn from the energy and move forward in a strong way. All right, so we're going to use the my oracle, Tales from the Vector, and that's TAILS from the Vector, and I have a website.com, and you can go there and check this out later if you want. I started this in 2007, and in 2020 I finished the 64th painting. The energy is from the Intergalactic Federation of Light, and you can I've had it out and about, and I've used it, and it's been a lot of fun. When I was teaching seminars, I had it at my seminars, and I also, but it wasn't in its entirety. I had it at psychic fairs, and it was working. It worked, but like it's way different now that all the cards are together. And as you may have noticed in life, things that look perfect on paper don't always look so good when you put them into action. And so that's why I want to work with the cards a bit before I write up the manual that goes with the cards, and then I'll bring the oracle out. And so in the description box below, I will put the cards as they appear here in the order they appear. And if you want to check it out, then you can go there and know which ones to look up. Oh, here we have it. Finally, we got a card coming out here. So this is talking about ego. So this is a karmic space. This is keep your ego in check at this time. Good advice. Because the ego, when spiritual, like when you're talking from a spiritual point of view about ego, we're talking about, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's, you know, like I'm a physical being. But no, you're more actually like a soul traveling in a physical body, as I said. So there's, you know, if you don't recognize your spiritual needs, quite often you'll end up in conflict with yourself as well as with others. And then we have the death card coming out. This is again talking about transition. So there's definitely, there's a lot of transition happening in the world right now, and possibly in your own personal life. So this is talking about go inward. Don't take impulsive actions. It's just bringing it up again. It's talking, you are a superstar. In case you didn't know, that's confirming it again. So you have your own special, unique qualities. And I feel like there's going to be more harmony in this year, 2026, for you. We have the moon energy. It's talking about pay attention to that. Discipline your mind so that you can have reckless abandon. WRECK. The secret to freedom is having discipline of your mind, so you make strong choices. We have the sun coming in, shining its light on this situation of sabotage, and we have it up again, confirming this. So remember, this is the happiest card in the deck. So this is talking about the situation is there's light being shone on it, and maybe that you were... you know, God uses people to do different tasks for him on the planet. And maybe your mission was to God made you strong so that you are able to handle all this pressure, so that you could highlight this energy for others, so that, you know, that action would be taken eventually. And then this is destruction. So yeah, this can talk about destruction. Some people, they just like to wreck things, you know, like a wrecking ball. Kind of, and that's not reckless. That's not the kind of energy. I'm talking like when just destroying things just because they can, basically. And also doing it for their own needs and not really caring about the destruction they're causing. And then we have the Leo energy coming in, which is all about this leadership energy that I was talking about. And once again, it's sitting here on this judgment, and it's talking about the Leo is ruled by the sun, and we have it here again, and it's talking about, to be a strong leader, that you need to be in alignment with where you're going. You need to understand that energy. You can't let other people control your life. You have to make sure you're staying on the path that you want, that is going to be your destined path here, your star, your superstar energy here, following your North Star. And so this is, I just want to say that when this card comes out, I'm not talking in a collective reading like this about an individual's energy. So it may be, oh, no, I recognize that person in my life. And that could well be. But having said that, use your intuition around that. My goal here is to share the information of what Leo is at their strongest. We have most of us have most of the signs somewhere in our chart. And we can learn from this, like we can learn from this energy And so this is Leo, the state of being of Leo is being in a strong leadership role. Now, that's not going to happen until you have some experience in life. And so the energy that Leo's at is, think about teenage boys' energy, you know, and they're very impulsive, and it takes a lot of time for that energy to mature, and a life experience for it to mature, to become a strong leader. And sometimes the Leo energy can come off as being very arrogant because they lack confidence and they want to cover it up, you know, fake it till you make it energy, but they're not really fooling anyone. But this is saying, judgment, be very careful right now, because you do not want to be in this impulsive energy. You have to mature and get to a point where you are making really strong choices. And you do that by going inward to see, okay, am I in alignment with this or not? We have the Empress energy coming out. So the Empress energy is talking about generating that energy, like being in a position where you are really attracting all the beautiful things in life that you want to bring in, and then allowing that to, you know, be distributed around the world, just like through whatever it is, your special, unique quality that you have passion for. And so this energy is talking about the, you know, a very strong feminine presence. You know, and I feel like in some ways this is really talking about mother's love, and also like a love of the planet and love of everybody on it coming together, united to make the world a better place. We have this energy here talking about anticipation. And that's like when it's saying, if you go on a foolhardy journey, when the fool starts off, he's at the 0 point. And if you follow this energy here, then you're going to be in a position here where you call the shots, and you're going to be in charge of your own life. So if you go here, then you're going to be, the external forces are going to have they're going to be ruling over you. And that's why it's so important. Stay on a foolhardy journey, not a foolish journey. And then this is talking about the energy here is about partnerships and commitments, like marriage, that kind of energy, partnerships like in business. And what it's talking about, if whoever you choose to be married to, or like your significant other, and also your partners in business and that kind of energy, is going to be like have a significant impact on your life. It's either going to uplift you or it's going to degrade your energy and those around you. And then we have disruption. What's fun for some is not fun for everyone. There's a lot of shift going on out there that's like very disruptive, but it's also talking about making sure that you stay on your path, that you don't that's about the moon energy. Basically, is even though there's a lot of illusions, you don't fall for illusions and you stay on your path. Surrender. This is talking about higher education, and this disruption is also talking about this here. It may feel like things in your life are being destroyed when a tower hits, but it's actually God's way of removing you from a situation that is going to be down the road very, very destructive for you. So it's going to disrupt your life now, but in the end, it's going to be the best thing. So the surrender is actually to a higher power, like being able, that also being that you're on the higher self network, that you're listening, so that you can go inward and you become your higher power. Like you're not going to make decisions just willy-nilly. Like, you're going to impulsively, you're going to really get into this position where you go inward and feel, is this in alignment with what I want to do and in my energy? So the jealousy thing, a lot of times, a lot of the shift out there is caused by jealousy. But you can adopt the attitude that I'd rather be better than bitter, and you're on that. If you're on your destined path, just because it appears to be way more challenging than the path of others, and it can be really frustrating. Possibilities are hidden in challenges, and it keeps raising your vibration so that you are in eventually this sunny, happy place, right? And this is Mother's Worry here. And I do feel like this is talking about the energy that a lot of people are like, oh, what's happening on this planet? It's so dark here. Where is the light? And this is talking about God saying, like, even when there is an eclipse and it appears that the sun is hidden by all the illusions and that there's not going to be any justice, or the light isn't going to shine through, and that people will never be happy again, that is just an illusion. That right behind that, this is, I am here shining, but you need to work this out on the earth here. You need to deal with it. Yeah. And then we have the world here. And so the neutrality part of that is like, if you are really stuck and you don't know what to do, when you go inward, you can be like, okay, you can play the what if game with yourself. What if this happens? What if this happens? Okay, then what? Then what? Then what? And get to the point where you're like, okay, I think I've covered every scenario, and I can guarantee you when this hits, it probably is not what you think it is. It's going to be more your intuitive energy telling you this is where it's likely to be. And so this is about being able to get neutral to the extremes. What's the absolute worst thing that can happen and the absolute best, and then be comfortable with everything that happens in between, so that you can make the strongest choice in the moment where you are, where the pendulum is swinging in your own personal life, basically. So yeah, this is a really good reading. And on the bottom we have temperance, and temperance is about having the patience. And it requires a lot. Sometimes you just want to yell at that Knight of Pentacles, would you get here already? So this is about having the patience to deal with what's going on around you, to stay on your path, because sometimes it appears to be easier to take a shortcut, but down the line you realize, that was the worst decision. It was better just to stay on my path, kind of energy. So I do hope you've enjoyed this, Libra. It's been a really informative reading. I really enjoyed it myself. If you do, please like and comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. If you resonate, it would be my honor if you did so. And I will have another reading for you regarding the end of the month as a next reading, astrological reading. Bye for now.